Your secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper?
Happy holidays, loves. It's May, and thank you for watching Bandaclap TV.
Activate.
Yo, this is Ludacris.
What's going on? This is Drake.
It's Tiger Young Money Zone.
It's your boy Wiz Khalifa, man.
This is Big Sean.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Kanye West.
It's Jay-Z.
Yo, this is your boy Weezy.
You're in the mix with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop. DJ
BandClap.
You're in the mix with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop.
They say my time is almost up, so them bitches wish. All these hoes looking cold, all these bitches fish dicks. Put a ribbon on my box, cause it's pussy gifted. I ain't got no free time, all my shit expensive. See my ring, my watch, my chain, and everything is lit. Niggas sold on a bitch, I feel like I'm slick. If they love me or they hate me, it don't make no difference. It be hard not to kill a hoe, cause I be sinning. Now I be counting money, buying jewelry, hoes be riding big. I just make my ends and mind my business, hoes be riding big. I just seen Cardi eat so much and that's what got him sick. But I wonder how they still impregnate all that riding dick. Y'all better go ahead with that weak shit. I'm certified real sweet bitch. Won't be a song if I leak shit. We strapped up like defense. Whatever you do, sis, keep it cute, sis. Leave that beefing shit on roof, Chris, I end up toothless. I've been a bitch for my whole life. I bought burners, I ain't buy likes. How little old me getting money got everybody all tight. These bitches whack, bitches garb. They diss me, I disregard. Bet you if I had a dick, these bitches couldn't get it hard. They say my time is almost up, so them bitches wish. All these hoes looking gold, all these bitches fish dicks. Put a ribbon on my box, cause it's pussy gifted. I ain't got no free time, all my shit expensive. See my ring, my watch, my chain, and everything is lit. I just sold on a bitch, I feel like I'm slick. If they love me or they hate me, it don't make no difference. It be wins, it be wins, it be wins, it be wins.
I'm looking for a nigga to give some babies, a handful of Weezy, sprinkle of Dave East. Man, I ain't got no type like Jimmy and Sway Lee's, but if he can't fuck 3 times a night, peace. I tried to fuck 50 for a powerful hour, but all that nigga wanna do is talk power for hours. We beat the pussy up, make sure it's a KO. Step your banks up like you moving that yayo. Somebody go and make sure Karuchi okay though. I heard she think I'm trying to get a coochie to Quavo. They always wanna beat it up, goon up the pussy. Man, maybe I should let them auto-tune up the pussy. All these bow wow challenge niggas lying and shit. Man, these Fetty Wap niggas stay eyeing my shit. Drake worth 100 million, always buying me shit. But I don't know if the pussy wet or if he crying and shit. Meek still be in my DMs, I be having to duck him.
I used to pray for times like this.
Face ass when I fuck him. Man, Uzi is my baby, he ain't taking the L. But he took it literally when I said go to hell. Used to fuck with Young Thug, I ain't addressing this shit. Caught him in my dressing room, stealing dresses and shit. I used to kid this nigga with a list of testers and shit. How you want the pussy, can't say your S's, 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 S's.
You're in the mix with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop. DJ
BandClap.
Getting to the money. Everybody pay. Think you getting too much money. Everybody pay.
Hips tick tock when I dance. On that demon time, she might start her OnlyFans. Big B and that B stand for bands. If you wanna see some real ass, baby, here's your chance. I say left cheek, right cheek, drop it low then swing. Texas up in this thing, put you up on this game. I be parking my frame, gang, 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 gang. If you don't jump to put jeans on, baby, you don't feel my pain. Please don't give me hype, write my name in ice. Can't argue with these lazy bitches, I just raise my price. I'm a boss, I'm a leader, I pull up in my 2-seater, and my mama was a savage. Nigga got this shit from Tina, I'm a savage.
Yo, what is poppin'? Before the video starts, I just want to let you all know that I give readings, just like the ones that you see every Monday on my channel. I give on point Orisha Tarot card readings for singles and also for couples. I also do natal chart consultations. My Everything is Everything reading is by far my bestseller. If you want to check out any of these services, please visit my website at www.bandclaptv.com. And also, when you go to that website and you scroll down, you will see a link to go to my shadow work class. In this time that we're in right now, shadow work is very, very important. Getting to know yourself, your inner child, really, really knowing who you are. All of these things are extremely important. And I have a very, very informative self-paced course. Shout out to Spiritual Ascension University and Melanie the Spirit Doula for allowing me to be able to give you all this very, very priceless course, if I do say so myself. So again, if you want to check these things out, go to my website, www.bandclaptv.com. All right, on with the video. In order for you to become a star, and since they really didn't have any reinforcement, you know, they just went along with it. You know, they end up going along with it. So once this programming right here, the programming that makes the daughters of Oshun want to be baddies, the programming that makes them want to be video vixens and want to show their bodies in hypersexual ways and all of that type of stuff, you know, then what they had to do, they had to dirty up the archetypes that we held dear, and make negative stories about them, rewrite history, and all of that type of stuff. And then they use the new archetype. They get a goddess, you know, from the hood, or that don't know who they are, that wants to be a star, and you know, they put her through the ringer, you know, make sure she's all good and primed up, you know, like fattening up a pig before the slaughter. And then she ends up you know, becoming one of these caricatures that's going to carry out these spells to get other melanated women wanting to be like that, you know. So the first spell that I want to talk about tonight is going to be the Jezebel Isabel spell. The Jezebel Isabel spell. Now, how many people in the chat have heard about the story of Jezebel? How many people in the chat have heard the story of Jezebel in the Bible? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard about the story of Jezebel in the Bible. So a lot of people, a lot of you all, you know, you've heard about Jezebel because of what the Bible and what the media told you about Jezebel, you know. And let me pull this up right quick. Let me see. This one. Okay. So here's some information about Jezebel. Here's some information about Jezebel. You know, Jezebel had a husband. So this is one of the things that they don't like to talk about, you know. Jezebel, she actually had a husband. So when you hear pastors talk about, oh, the Jezebel spirit, talking about a prostitute that's single and don't got no man, that's false, because Jezebel had a husband. Jezebel had a husband. His name was King Ahab. who ruled over the king of Israel. Very important, because you're going to find out who Jezebel really is. Jezebel ain't nothing but Pambagera. Jezebel is nothing but Pambagera. You know, and Pambagera is nothing but the baby Oshun expressing herself in a different way, in a different type of way. Israel, you know, Ra-El, the sun god, you know, the kingdom of the people who were reflections of the Son of God. Israel, you know. Now, you know, during these Bible times, everybody was going to Christianity and stuff like that. Everybody was going to Christianity, and Jezebel and her husband, King Ahab, you know, they was one of the rulers, and yep, Isis, Ra-El, exactly. You know, they didn't want to conform to the Christian doctrine that everybody else was slowly getting indoctrinated by. So Jezebel, you know, she tried to keep alive the old way. You know, she tried to keep her and her husband Ahab, you know, they tried to keep the old way, the old ways, the old magical ways alive. You know, and that's why the Christians looked at Jezebel as evil and King Ahab as evil. You know, Jezebel was the daughter of a priest king, a ruler of Phoenician cities. A priest king. Eshu is the priest king. You know? What's his name? Set. You know, Osiris. You know, these are priest kings. You know? And at one time, we didn't look at these kings or these names as stuff that's bad. You know? And her main thing was, you know, keeping some of those. Remember what I said? When a goddess leaves the neighborhood and goes to create her own thing, she always wants to bring some of her neighborhood with them. You know, that's what Jezebel was trying to do. So she convinced Ahab to introduce the worship of nature, the worship of nature. You know, and the worship of, you know, all of those things in nature that we used to hold dear. You know, she tried to bring the forest into the illusionary world. You know, the baby Oshun, she tried to bring the forest into the illusionary world, and she was looked at as an evil witch, as an evil woman. You know, very evil. You know, the last vicious act attributed to Jezebel. Jezebel is recorded in Kings 1. Adjacent to Ahab's palace was a vineyard, which he coveted. Because the way she was, so Naboth of Jezreel, I'm reading some of this stuff. When Naboth refused to part with his vineyard, Jezebel falsely charged him with blasphemy. God and King. You know, she did a lot of Eshu-like things, but she had a good heart while doing it. You know, but she died a very horrible death. But one thing that she did because she outlived King Ahab, you know, and she always kept his name alive. She always kept him alive in a positive way. Even when, you know, she had sons and those sons end up getting killed because she tried to make them king, because these Christians were trying their best to keep this to erase our true history, to erase our true cosmology, you know. So that's why they were so gung-ho about killing Jezebel and all of her offspring, you know, all of her offspring. And she's still looked at as the king of Israel, the queen of Jezebel, the queen of Israel. You know, it was real messed up. But the way you were probably taught about Jezebel was that, you know, she's this evil, wicked woman and all of this stuff, you know. And a lot of that isn't true. You know, it isn't true. She wasn't wicked, you know, but that's what they want you to believe. So what they did was they took their archetype of who Jezebel is. Hold on, y'all. So these soulless beings, they took their archetype on what they say that Jezebel is, which is a everything that we say about Pumagera in an evil way. You know, she's a prostitute. She worships materialism. The Jezebel of Hollywood is a prostitute who worships materialism, you know. And you know, she does a lot of wicked things. You know, that's what Jezebel of Hollywood, that archetype is. Now, there's also another archetype called Isabel. You know, Isabel, she was in the Bible too, and she was the wife of a famous king. You know, I think his name was Aaron. You know, Isabel, Queen Isabel and Aaron. Now, Isabel, when you look up the etymology of Isabel, Isabel means God is my oath. So this is a faithful wife. So you got one version, which is Jezebel, which is the unruly prostitute that worships materialism, you know, very sexually promiscuous and all of this type of stuff. And then you got Isabel, which is the faithful wife. So in Hollywood, we have the Jezebel Isabel spell. And these are a bunch of caricatures that were created by the industry, by Hollywood. And they got to play two roles in Hollywood. They got to spend a portion of their life as a prostitute, as a stripper, as a, you know, a someone who's materialistic, you know, all of these type of things. And then they got to spend another part of their life as a faithful and loving wife. And this is something this is a spell that is cast on daughters of Oshun in this world. You know, that you can go out, you can be a thought, you can be a prostitute, you know, you can have a whole bunch of sex. You can have a whole bunch of sex with a whole bunch of guys and be all used up and all of that. And then towards the end of your life, you're going to find a king. You're going to find a powerful king that's going to take you under their wing and you're going to be a wife to them. You know, that's the spell. That's the spell that's cast using the Jezebel Isabel spell. That's the spell. And the thing about it is certain goddesses had to be picked in order to do this spell. And things had to be done in a certain way in order for this spell to work. So, you know, the main example. So I want to start off with this. I want to start off with this because when we talk about the Jezebel Isabel spell, we got one person that always comes to mind, Beyonce. So this is Beyonce. You know, this is Beyonce. Beyonce, she is a Virgo, Scorpio moon, life path 5. Life path 5 is the path of Oshun, a path of Oshun. You know, Queen B, B-E-Y, Queen Bey. You know, so when Oshun starts to look at herself as the Queen Bee, you know, the Queen Bee don't need no man really for nothing but having kids. You know? Now, if you don't believe me, I'm gonna show you this clip right here of what happens to male bees. Since we're talking about queen bees, this is a clip about what happens. This is a clip about what happens to male bees, you know, when they're no longer needed in the hive. This is what happens to these male bees. So check this out.
This is a male bee getting kicked out of the hive by a female bee. Male honeybees are called drones, and they don't do much work around the hive. They don't collect food, they don't take care of the baby bees, they don't build the hive, and they don't defend the hive since they don't have stingers. This is why you've probably never seen a male honeybee before unless you've been near or inside of a hive. Male bees only have one job, to mate with a queen. So when mating season is over and winter is coming, the worker bees force all of the drones out of the hive. Sometimes they chase them out, sometimes they drag them out. But once they're out of the hive, the male bees will either starve or freeze to death. In fact, you can often find a pile of dead male bees on the ground around the entrance of the hive. During the winter, there aren't as many flowers in bloom and food is scarce. The drones are just more mouths to feed at a time when resources are low. Since they're no longer making significant contributions, the female bees have to get rid of the males for the survival of the colony.
The same way that that queen bee in nature, you know, treats the male bees. You know, this is also how Oshuns, who look at themselves as queen bees, you know, this is how they operate. You know, this is how they operate. They got a bunch of drones around them, and they don't have sex. They got a beehive. They got some drones around them, but the drones, they don't have sex with the drones. You know, but the drones, you know, they don't really protect the hive. You know, they just swarm around. And then you got the male bee, you know, he comes in, has sex, she lays eggs, and then the drones kick the male bee out. You know? So this is an equivalent to if Beyonce, you know, Beyonce, she got the beehive and all of that type of stuff. And with this beehive, even though this beehive would most of them will never get close to Beyonce, they protect her as if that's their brother or sister. You know? And we've seen in the past how vicious the beehive can get. You know? Now, remember how Beyonce started before she got with Jay-Z. You know, she had to play a Jezebel-like role. You know, Virgo, Pumbagira. She had to be a Jezebel-like role, you know, because that's the role that she played. You know, so she had to come out being materialistic. You know, shoes on my feet, I bought it. The clothes that I got, I bought it. You know, she had to come out sexual. Can you keep up? Let me lose my breath. Let me lose my breath. You know, get me bodied. You know, all of these things. She had to play this role. And then since she played that role, that role good, you know, now she has to get with a SU because Jay-Z, he's a Virgo ascendant, you know. So he plays Jay-Z, he know how to play his role to a T. So now you got SU and Pambagera, which is King Ahab and Jezebel, getting together, and now she has to play the faithful wife. You know, now she has to be the faithful wife. So with that being said, you know, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. You know, this is how Beyonce is living now these days, and this is sad because a lot of the women who follow Beyonce, you know, certain key things in Beyonce's playbook, a lot of these women, they bypassed it, so it's hard for them to switch like that. It's hard for them to switch from being Jezebel to being Isabel. It's very hard, but in Hollywood, anything is possible. You know, so this is what Beyonce has to say about her husband. You know, and check this out.
I think you get a great sense of is your relationship with Jay-Z. You balance being the fierce, independent woman with obviously a woman who also adores and loves her man.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I would not be the woman I am if I did not go home to that man. And it just gives me such a foundation. And
how has he helped you?
On so many levels. You know, we were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any date on the phone for a year and a half. And that foundation is so important in a relationship. And just to have someone that you just like, you know, is so important. It's someone that is honest.
Do you know, I remember the first time you were on the Oprah show and I told you, don't go around telling people who you're dating. I think you took that all the way.
I took it as far as I could take it.
Oh my God. I didn't say, you don't tell people who you're dating, but you can tell people who you're married to, okay? You took it a little too far.
I took it all the way.
You took it all the way.
You gotta listen when Oprah speaks.
Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah.
How did you all keep that a secret?
I think now people have a respect for our relationship, and it's one of the reasons why, because they know that we want to have our lives, and when it's time to perform on the stage, then it's time. But when it's time to go on a date or go be who we are, people are respectful of that.
Are you a better woman because of him?
Absolutely.
Is he a better man because of you?
Absolutely, yes. we have done it for each other. I think it's the most important thing in the relationship.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that switcheroo? Y'all see that switcheroo that Beyonce had to go through in order for her role in this Hollywood to be complete? You know? And what did Beyonce say? She said, you know, I wouldn't be what I am today if I didn't go home to that man. You know? That don't sound nothing like, all my women independent, throw your hands up by me. You know? So this is a spell. This is a spell that's put on a lot of our young, fertile Oshuns, baby Oshuns, you know, that they can go out here and, you know, use themselves up. And then, you know, there's going to be a powerful king that's going to take you up. You know, there's gonna you're gonna be able to marry them and you know, live happily ever after. You know, that is the Hollywood American dream. You know, that's the Hollywood dream. And we see how this this has shaped a lot of our women, you know. Now, when it comes to this spell, a lot of times, if you don't want to go through with this spell, it leads to a tragic death. If you don't want to go through the spell in Hollywood, it leads to a tragic death, just like Jezebel. So before I go into the next person that I want to talk about, who represented the Jezebel Isabel spell, we got to go. I wanna talk about this because remember what I told y'all when it came to Chiron. You know, Chiron is very, very important because it's these Chiron placements in your natal chart. You know, this is what's going to give the Hollywood system of soulless beings. This is what's going to kind of give them a roadmap to how they can tempt you. You know, how can we tempt you? How can we tempt you to be under our program? You know, so we pick at your childhood wounds because we know that's your most vulnerable spot. You know, that's your most vulnerable spot. You know, now Beyonce, her Chiron, and we know that Chiron represents inner child wounds. You know, child wounds from childhood that takes a lot to heal. You know, but if you're able to heal without this negative influence, you know, this is your secret power that you can use to liberate other people. But you know, this is used for your detriment when you let Hollywood turn you into a star, and you got this bleeding heart, this bleeding hole in your heart, because of this trauma that haven't been, you know, because of this trauma that hasn't been, you know, fixed. This trauma that hasn't been fixed in your life. So when we look at Beyonce's natal chart, Beyonce's Chiron is in her 7th house. You know, so this already means that she has a inner child wound that deals with partnerships, that deals with relationships and stuff like that. So this is what made her perfect to be a Jezebel. When you're a woman and you got issues with meaningful relationships, having meaningful relationships and stuff like that, there's going to be a point where you enter a rebellious stage and you just like, fuck it. You know, I'm gonna just be Jezebel, you know? Now, to add more to this, why Beyonce was chosen to do this spell, and she does it so well. Her Chiron is in Taurus. Her Chiron is in Taurus, and this is a wound of materialism. Chiron in Taurus is the wound of materialism. You know, very important. The wound of materialism. You know, and let me read some of this. So, people born with Chiron and Taurus are all about security and stability in life, provided through the materialistic. Very important. They are always searching for safety through material possessions and values, and often tend to feel pain because material possessions aren't fulfilling enough, or they're never enough. You know? Can y'all hear me? Let me make sure y'all can hear me. They are money oriented, which leads to feeling empty spiritually in life. As we know, love and true happiness can't be bought with money. You know, this is what Oshun's who are Taurus, this is what they have to understand. You know? And think about And while I'm reading this definition, think about all the things that Beyonce promoted. You know, all the things that she promotes. You know, the never-ending chase for money and power. You know, she had to get with somebody like Jay-Z, because Jay-Z, he's the one that got the money and the power. You know, but does Beyonce feel content in her soul? You know, because she's got everything that she wanted. The pain of being the pain of being perceived as a shallow person. You know, this is another thing about Taurus, about the Chiron in Taurus. You know, since you are the only person that understands why you are so into materialism, you get hurt because of it. People perceive you as a shallow person. You know, and these are some things that Beyonce probably fights with behind closed doors, because so much of her personality, she has to keep it hidden, you know, because it won't fit the agenda that she's meant to push. Although it is the truth, the fact that you are losing people and they don't value you, it hurts, and it leaves you to carry the pain from not being accepted or understood. You know, and hurt people. So this is all the baggage that Beyonce is teaching to Chloe Bailey, maybe, allegedly. You know, turning her into another Beyonce because she don't understand who she is. You know, the wound of ever experiencing a intense feeling of lack of something. You know, all of these things. Now, healing from this wound is never easy, quick, or fast. Different pains and wounds come at different times in our life, and what matters is to learn from all of them. You know, but you know, being in Hollywood, all they're going to do is give you more money, more power, you know, more influence. You know, they can't give you shadow work. You can only do that. So this is the spell that a lot of women who follow Beyonce are under. You know, now not every woman who audition for this spell, not every woman was kept. You know, not every woman was able to survive. You know, so now we got to talk about Aaliyah. So now we gotta talk about Aaliyah, because she was another one. You know, she kind of represents you know, two of these spells. She kind of represented two of these spells, but the thing about it is, I feel like had Aaliyah lived, she would have been able to transmute this and make it into something even more positive, because she would have showed you the real definition of Jezebel and what the real definition could turn into. You know, Akasha being redeemed. They couldn't have that. You know. Now we understand, you know, Aaliyah, her last name was Halton, and we know what haughty represents. It means heavily promiscuous. You know, so Aaliyah, she had to play that out. You know, she had to play that out in her life. You know, with her relationships, you know, relationship with R. Kelly, You know, she had to play that out in a lot of her music. You know, she had to play this out. But remember, you know, towards the end part of her life, she was about to become a Isabel to Dame Dash. She was about to become an Isabel to Dame Dash, and the power from that would have been a lot more powerful than Jay-Z and Beyonce spell. Aaliyah, she had the more powerful spell. You know, she had the more powerful energy. We couldn't see it at the time, but the system of soulless beings and the people that she was in competition with, they knew that she was going to be way more powerful had she kept living. You know? Now we all remember when Aaliyah was with Dame Dash, you know, for that period of time. You know, we all remember this time. We all remember this time right here. When Aaliyah and Dame Dash were an item. You know, and she was getting even more popular. She was getting even more popular being with him. You know, look at how vibrant Aaliyah was. Look at how vibrant she was, and all of these type of things. Because the thing about it was, it would have been like a Shango and Obanani situation, you know, where she would have learned to love him, and you know they would have done some very very monumental things together. They would have done some very monumental things together. You know, had she stayed alive. You know, so it's very important. That's why it's so important. It's so important that when you come into this Hollywood, you don't know who you are, so you can be manipulated. It's very important. Now, for the modern day, Jezebel Isabel spell. For the modern day Jezebel Isabel spell, the witch in the industry that's playing this out is Cardi B. You know, Cardi B. She's the new Jezebel Isabel. You know, when you look at Aaliyah natal chart, her Chiron is in Taurus, just like Beyonce. So they were both competing. The fucked up part about it was Aaliyah didn't even understand that it was a competition until it was too late. Aaliyah didn't know that she was in a competition. She was just being her, you know, because she actually possessed that energy naturally, you know. But that's just how this industry is, you know. They don't want to show real love. They don't want to show you what real love is supposed to be in Hollywood, you know, with these singers and these rappers and these actresses and, you know, these artists. You know, they don't want to show you what real love is about. Now, Cardi B, remember Cardi B? You know, she was a stripper. She was talking about how she was drugging men and she was drugging men for money, and, you know, It was a lot of stuff that she was talking about that she had to do before she made it big. And then look how she made it big. There was a issue because no matter what you want to say about Kodak Black is a version of SU, even though he's being manipulated, you know, and being mind controlled. So it was a issue that she bit off of and made the song Bodak Yellow. She made the song about Bodak Yellow. And that was the song that catapulted her into the stratosphere. And now, since she's in the stratosphere, she needs to complete the spell in order for her to keep going forward. So another issue, wayward issue, named Offset, had to come in and play that role. You know, most of these industry couplings aren't natural. They don't happen naturally. You know, they are orchestrated by the industry. You know, now for Cardi B, her Chiron is in the 5th house. So her Chiron, her inner child wound, it affects her creativity. It affects her sexuality. It affects all of those divine feminine things. And since she wasn't really taught that, you know, the industry was able to have their way in mind controlling her. You know, and her Chiron is in Leo. So this is a wound of creative recognition. You know, this is a person who they would have been a nerd if being a nerd was popular. You know, they would have been a classy good girl if being a classy good girl was popular. You know, the wound of recognition, wounds that come from being unrecognized. You know, this comes from subconscious emotional wounds that make you feel like not being recognized, like you're not being recognized for your talents and specialness. It is a pain that comes from fearing that you might not be noticed and appreciated for your gifts. And your biggest wound is when you feel like you are always fading into the background. You know? So with this being said, you know, it's hard for a person who has a wound of recognition like this to be in a relationship, you know, because every time she feels like she's fading into the background and her husband is leading, she's going to act out in a rebellious way. You know, interestingly, a lot of famous people have Chiron and Leo, and they too fight with the pain that comes from their talent. And this is something that Cardi B, you know, because I truly feel like deep down, Cardi B, she's a cool chick. Her name isn't even Cardi B. Like this is a whole character she's playing. But her hell is going to be because nobody is going to care about who she really is. All they care about is who and what she's portraying on the big screen. You know, the pain of feeling disliked. The Leo sun, Leo women, they love attention and they enjoy being in the spotlight. But there's a wound that comes from assuming that people are not enjoying your company and you feel disliked. So this is why every time somebody says something negative about Cardi B, you know, she's very combative. You know, she's very combative. Patricia, what you say? What is that? You know, the pain from feeling untalented. You know, this is This is a pain with this Chiron and Leo. This is the reason why you would let somebody else take control that you feel like is more better than you, that can make you better, because you don't believe in yourself. You know, this is what would make you go out and get a butt job. This is what would make you go out and get body alterations and have ghostwriters and all that type of stuff, because you don't have confidence in your own creative talent. You know, this is very deep. This wound, this is a very deep wound. And for somebody, a woman who have this type of wound, and she's meant to be a Oshun type of goddess, that's a lot of energy that you can feed off of. And this is the perfect candidate for a Jezebel Isabel spell. You know, trying to live their dreams through their children or their younger relatives. You know, roots coming from childhood. You know, it is often the parents' fault. The child's parents weren't praising them for doing good jobs, or when they showed their abilities. Instead, they were noticing that they were only noticing the bad acts of the child. So this is reflected into this person thinking that they can't do anything right, starting from an early age. You know, this is not a good wound that you need to have, and then you're being put out as a celebrity. You know, and this is just proof. This is just proof to show you. This is proof to show you that you know, these industry relationships, you know, are these relationships are you know, they're what you call them, you know, they're manufactured together. They're not real, you know, because it's like when you're asked about said relationship, you know, you can't even give a straight answer. You know, you can't even give a good answer. At least with Beyonce, you know, you heard what Beyonce said about Jay-Z, you know. But this right here, because remember, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they knew each other since they were kids. They were teens, you know. But this right here, what you about to see, this is a blatant pairing together of two individuals, you know, for gain of the you know, Hollywood, for the gain of the soulless beings, and also this is a spell. This is a spell for the young women, you know, to look at someone like Offset, to look at someone like Kodak Black as a baby issue that you want to go into the forest with. And then this is what turns you into the traumatized baddie, you know. So check this out. This is what Cardi B had to say about her being with Offset. You know, how this is how they met. Let's see what Cardi B has to say about her beloved Offset.
Okay, my question is, what's the love story with you and Offset? How did that start?
Listen, I told you, you are our bestie. So we're just happy for you, girl. So go on, tell us what happened.
That's my man, girl. You know, we met, and he asked me about my story and what I want. Is like, I want to be taken serious from these artists.
Okay.
And I used to tell him, like, I'm so frustrated. I feel like I'm never gonna make it, never gonna make it, never gonna make it. I keep dropping songs. I don't understand what's up. And he used to tell me, like, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. You're committed.
Yes. So
and I did.
It seems like y'all been rocking for a minute. I mean, I don't know how long. I remember, like, in February around the Super Bowl time, we were like, oh, Cardi B, Offset. Was that the beginning, or were you guys
around
there? Was it studio love?
No, it was just, I'm cute and you cute.
Well, both of you guys are fly.
Y'all heard that? You know, that's what how low this is how low this system of soulless beings want you to think about your partner, that you're supposed to go through all of this, all of these transformations and all of these changes with. I'm cute and you're I was cute and he was cute, you know. Is that really is that really how you want your relationship to be? You know, is that really how you want your relationship? Because in this time that we're in now, you better make sure that who you go into the forest with is gonna be a ride or die for real. You know? And not only that, this is the type of stuff, because the way this spell is set up, the thing that this person has to accept, you know, because it's not like you transform. See, back in the day, you would transform and you would be a totally different version, you know, a version that's compatible with your man, with your God, with your divine masculine as a woman. But this Jezebel Isabel, you know, this is geared at men, what's up, Bella? So this spell is geared at men, that even though I'm married to you, I'm still gonna do thought-like things. I'm still gonna do Jezebel-like things, even though I signed a particular agreement. You know, that I signed a particular agreement that I'm not really gonna follow. You know. So this is all out of whack when you think about this Jezebel Isabel spell that a lot of our women find themselves under. You know, and and if you want to know, you know, what are some things, you know, what are some things that you are to expect? Give me 1 second. What are some things that you're gonna that as a man in 2021 you need to expect your Jezebel Isabel indoctrinated wife to be doing on Instagram, to be doing on, you know, all this other stuff, while she's supposed to be married to you. You know, check this out. And I don't even need to cut it. I don't even need to cut it to the video, because this shit is super funny. So this is the Cardi B way. You know, this is the new way of relationships now. You know, the new way of love and relationships. You know, you're married to this artist, and you know, y'all have a certain agreement, but Hollywood overrides that agreement. So you think that your wife is going to be wholesome, and she's going to be a virtuous wife once y'all get together, and then this happens.
Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet ass pussy. Beat it up, catch a charge, extra large and extra hard. Put this pussy right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth. Look in my eyes. This pussy is wet. Come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised. Let's role play. I'll wear a disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Make it cream. Make it scream. Out in public, make a scene. I don't cook. I don't clean. But let me tell you how I got this ring.
Because of this music media manipulation that I talked about earlier, you know, this is what make today's women feel like participating in this, as if you're single, participating in this, you know, this is cool. You know, even if you're in a relationship, you can participate in those type of activities, you know, with people with guys other than your man. And, you know, since we have a flawed marriage system, either he's going to accept it or he's going to go through a nasty divorce, you know. And since it's Hollywood and, you know, social media and all of this stuff, everybody's in your business. You know, there's no privacy or anything like that, you know. So that's the first spell that a lot of our women are under. The second spell is called the Salome spell. The second spell is called the Salome spell. You know, so how many people? Oh, wait. Before I do that, let's go back to the Jezebel Isabel, because for the super raunchy Jezebels, you know, we got Cardi B. But then for the Jezebels who, you know, who want to act innocent, but they're really not, you have Sierra. You know, you got Sierra. Now, Sierra, she is a Scorpio with a Pisces moon. She's a Scorpio with a Pisces moon, you know, and so she's like a hybrid of Oya and Yemoya. And there's a lot of things, you know, Oya and Yemoya, they just don't agree with each other, you know. So inside of her, there's always a internal conflict when it comes to relationships, you know, when it comes to sex, you know, especially when you're under this programming. And now you see a lot of ladies, you know, what they call it the Russell, what's his name? Russell, what's Sierra husband name? I'm having a brain fart. What's Sierra husband name? Somebody put it in the chat. I know it's not Russell Westbrook. Is it Russell Wilson? What's Sierra husband name? Is it Russell Wilson? It's called what they call it, the Russell Wilson prayer. You know, the Russell Wilson prayer. You know, this is another Jezebel Isabel type of spell. Is it Westbrook? Is it Wilson? Russell Wilson? Oh yeah, Russell Wilson. Okay. Russell Wilson. You know? And it's for my ladies out there, this spell is going to have you very dissatisfied. even if you get what you want, it's gonna have you dissatisfied, you know, because this wasn't how things were meant to go with y'all, you know. So we can see this when we're looking at Ciara. When we're looking at Ciara, when she was talking about her relationship with Future versus when Ciara was talking about her relationship with Russell Wilson, who Future was supposed to be the bad guy and Russell Wilson is supposed to be the good guy, right? So why is it in these two clips I'm gonna show you, Ciara sound a lot more, she sound a lot more in her divine, you know, in her feminine, she sound a lot more satisfied with Future. Okay. And Summer Walker, woo, god dang, I feel so bad for Summer Walker. She had no business being in Hollywood. No business being in Hollywood. You know, Hollywood messed her up. Fucked her up. She had no business being there. So you're about to see in these two clips, you're going to see how Ciara is with Future, because her and Future are both Scorpios. So sexually, she's more sexually compatible with Future. It was just that, you know, Future, he's not a person that you're gonna have a monogamous Piscean relationship with. You know? So it was a conflict. It was like, yeah, she was getting the sex, she ended up having a child, but the unfaithfulness that the Pisces don't like, you know, that's what made her run. That's what made her run to Russell Wilson. And all of these things, all of this stuff is orchestrated by the industry. All of this stuff, when it comes to these celebrities, are orchestrated by the industry. Rarely is this stuff organic. Very rarely is these couplings fully organic. You know, rarely are they organic. So first, let me show you this clip. So I can show you, you know, what type of tune Ciara was singing when she was with her soulmate Future.
Fair enough. You are a lady. And I know that's difficult sometimes. Now, while I know that you are in love with Future, are you engaged? Because can I have a tattoo ring cam, Rambo? There's an N on your finger, or is that a Z on the side? Who is that?
That's an N.
What's his real name? I mean,
his name is Navadius.
Navadius.
Yeah.
Does he have one of those with a C on it?
He does.
Are you pregnant?
No.
But clearly you're in love?
I'm very happy.
So you guys are eventually going to get married?
I don't know.
But see, here's my thing with you kids. Now, what happens, God forbid, if you don't get married to this guy? How are you going to explain that to the next man?
Okay, this is what I feel. This is the place I'm in. I'm in the place of like, because you know how I am. I've always been so reserved into myself, or, you know, more private and kind of like halfway about something when I speak about a relationship.
Yes.
And in this day in my life, I'm so comfortable in my skin and I feel so good about where I am. And I'm very confident and confident the way he loves me. So I say that to say that I'm going to put in the universe positive things.
Gotcha.
I'm going to put in the universe that it's going to only get better and better and better.
All right.
And
then we're going to put it out there too. Good luck with your relationship. Ciara's album comes out in July.
Look at you. You see how bubbly and just how satisfied. How you see how bubbly and how satisfied she was because she was with Future. You know, even though we would never understand that situation. You know, two Scorpios, you'll never really understand their bond, but it's a real bond. It's just that in this world, they would never be able to have a natural type of relationship because of Hollywood. you know. And she was a Jezebel, and they partnered her up with a male Jezebel. You know? And when I say Jezebel, I mean the Jezebel that Hollywood painted. You know? And you could see how in Body Party, she was fully being herself. You know, she was fully being herself. And you could tell that even though Future was the way he was, you know, there was a huge part of Sierra that would have been more acceptive if it didn't have a backlash the way it did. You know, Future baby mamas coming all out, you know, talking shit, all of that stuff coming back to Sierra. Now her brand is being tarnished, her name is being dragged through the mud, and all of this type of stuff, you know. And these are the mind games that Sierra has to fight with because of how she came up as a child. You know, Sierra, let's put Sierra right here. Sierra, her Chiron is in the 3rd house. You know, so this is a fickle mind. Chiron in the 3rd house is a childhood inner child wound that deals with communication, that deals with the mind. It's hard for her to communicate what she's thinking. It's hard for her to communicate, you know. And her Chiron is in Gemini. So this means that she's double-minded. She's double-minded, you know. And this is another thing about the Jezebel Isabel is that any woman who falls under the Jezebel Isabel is taught to be double-minded, you know. Don't give all of your blessed assurance to one man, you know. Put some money to the side, just in case this or this and this, you know. And these are things that they learn through their friends. Sometimes even their mama teach them this, you know. So when it comes to the blessed insurance, you know, this is what's called a risky investment, a risky client, because one day, 1 month, she might have the money to pay the insurance. 1 month she might be a little low. The next month she don't have it at all, and she want a payment plan. And then the next month, she got it again. Like it's too much of a fickleness. It's too up and down. It's too fickle, you know. Chiron in Gemini talks about the wound of intelligence. You know, that's Chiron in Gemini. If Gemini is the most social, intelligent, and fastest learning sign of the zodiac, Chiron in Gemini is the complete opposite of that. This indicates that these are the most problematic and weak areas for you. The pain you feel often comes from the constant feeling of being unable to fit in your surroundings or by being different from others due to communication and intelligence. You know? And these are things that we may never know about Sierra because she's a Scorpio, so she's good at hiding things, keeping secrets. She's good at that. Pisces, she's good at hiding her emotions. So we would only have to look at her works to truly see this, you know, different interviews and stuff like that. And even that, you know, celebrities are taught how to talk a certain way, how to be a certain way. You know, the pain of feeling less smart than everyone else around you. When Sierra got with Future, you know, she was really in love with that dude. She really did love Future, you know. But when Future, because she didn't read her agreement the way she was supposed to, she wasn't responsible in not creating worlds, in not creating children with certain people, she was looked at as being stupid or less smart by being with Future. Cause everybody know that Future is a hoe. You know, that's just who he is, and he don't hide it. He don't hide who he is. You know, Lynette, where's your Chiron in Gemini located? You know, where's your Chiron in Gemini located? Because Chiron in Gemini itself is a wound of intelligence, but it can be a wound of intelligence in whatever house that it's in. You know, and this is something that if you know, aside from this Hollywood stuff, if you got a wound, if you got a childhood wound in Gemini, you always have ways to combat that, you know, by understanding the things that you need help with. Conjunct Mercury, 5th house, you know. So this is a wound of intelligence when it comes to how to communicate as far as your creativity goes. You know, think about what the 5th house, think about what the 5th house represent. Think about what the 5th house represents. You know, we was just talking about this with Beyonce. The 5th house, it represents creativity, recreation, procreation, entertainment, pleasures, romance, children, play. So if you have a wound of intelligence in these type of things, that means that in your life, you might have made some mistakes in these areas because you wasn't taught about how important these areas are in your life. That wasn't communicated to you. Mercury, that wasn't communicated to you. So you made a lot of mistakes in this field, and it might wasn't necessarily your fault. It's just that you just didn't know. You know, ignorance. You know, you wasn't intelligent. You wasn't intelligent. You know, you were just ignorant in those areas, and that's why you made those mistakes. That's a regular person. But what I'm talking about here, this is a wound that would light up the eyes of the higher ups. If you're a beautiful woman, and this can put you, this can make you a perfect candidate for putting out a Jezebel Isabel spell. You know, this is what it's about. Now Sierra, her Chiron is in Gemini in the 3rd house. So it's like, what were you thinking? That's stupid. What were you thinking? Getting with Future. You know? But in her mind, you know, she loved Future. So now, in order for her to redeem herself, now she got to get with somebody that Scorpio that she wouldn't necessarily get with, you know, but he's going to be a good husband. You know? So with that being said, let me show you. So now let's see how Sierra. Now let's see how Sierra reacts. Let's see how Sierra reacts while she's talking about Russell Wilson. Let's see how Sierra reacts when she's talking about Russell Wilson. Let's see if she's still, you know, all innocent and soft and bubbly and all of that, you know, because we're talking about sex. We're talking about Scorpio. So, you know, when a woman when another woman asks you as a woman about your man in an interview type of way, whether it's a TV interview or whether it's you and your friends at a coffee shop and y'all and you're talking about your man and you start being bubbly like that, we all know what that equates to. That means that nigga was putting it down. He was putting it down. He had the right stick for her cauldron and it was stirring up. It was stirring up and she liked the way it feel, so much that she had a body party. She was like, my body is your party. You can do whatever, and she can take it because Pisces moons, they can take a lot of pain. Pisces, I told y'all, Pisces can take a lot of pain, so she didn't care. She gonna take that pain, but now let's see how Sierra reacts when she's talking about her new husband, Russell Wilson.
I just reflect, and like you say, how things can come together in a way that seems perfectly. It just also makes me reflect on the journey because it wasn't necessarily the easiest road to this point, and so it's just amazing. And when I look on that video, I just think, that man got my back. And it feels different, that man, he's always there for me. Like, it's crazy. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, this morning I got surprised when I was on The View and
What happened? I didn't see it.
He just sent a video of sweet words, and it was also CNN Future, but it's not ever a moment where he won't pause to, like, make sure I'm good, or it can be creative, advice, whatever. He's just there for me.
What did he say when he saw that?
Good. Oh, he was really happy. He was really proud. I'm trying to think. What did he say when he saw that?
Did he cry? He cried.
No, did he? He didn't cry. Gosh, I can't remember the exact words that he said. He didn't cry. He's pretty tough, but if I can recall, I mean, obviously it was very special to him, and he talked about how special it was too, and he was also, like I say, I would share some of the footage, and he was also part of, like, going through some of the moments with me, and because it's such personal, footage of ours. Yeah.
All right. So, I'm a Virgo moon, Virgo ascendant, and when it comes to Scorpios, the best way to catch when they're lying, or not when they're lying, or when they're telling half truths or stuff like that, is to look at the little things and be able to compare and contrast with the little things. This is the reason why the baby issue, he can always, in his own baby type of way, put Oya in check, because those little things, the baby issue, he can always see those little things that's gonna add up and become chaos, so it was something in that clip that I hope y'all paid attention to. She was putting on, she like, yeah, he got my back, and he's a good man, he got my back, like all of this type of stuff. And then she was like, he did this thing for me, and it was so good, and I appreciate him and all of that stuff. And then so Angie Martinez, she was like, okay, so what was it? What was it? And I noticed from being in relationships with Pisces women, and also from analyzing my mother, which is a Scorpio, they appreciate the little things so much. And with Pisces, when you stop doing those little things, those little things, they're gonna call you out on it. You know, why don't you slap my ass no more? Or why don't you do this no more? Why don't you do this no more? You know, and they be whining about it. And I'm like, damn, I didn't know that you noticed that type of stuff. And Scorpio, in the back of her mind, she's like, oh, but the reason why he not doing this no more because you doing it for another bitch. All right, I'm gonna remember that. That's Scorpio. You know, they move in silence. All right, I'm gonna remember that. You know. So that was very telling. Being that I know, I understand a lot of the nature of Pisces and Scorpio. The fact that she did that whole monologue talking about, oh yeah, he got my back, da da da, and then those little things that's supposed to make the relationship natural and supposed to make the relationship believable, because we're talking about Pisces moon, believable. You know, she drew a blank. She was like, I don't know. And then Angie Martinez was trying to help her out, trying to make her look better. Like, oh, you know, he must have cried. You know, he must have cried or something like that. And she was like, yeah, no, he didn't do that. You know. So what does that mean? Versus when you seen her talking about Future, she couldn't hardly talk. She remembered everything that Future and her discussed in that last clip. You know, that whole thing about we're just gonna go and have fun and see how, man, when Future was piping her down, that's what he was saying in her ear. You know, I bet you. So this is another mishap. This is another bad part of this Jezebel Isabel spell that I want to warn women about. You know, there's a lot of beautiful women who are chronically single. And the reason why they're single is because they're not being real with themselves. They're not being real with themselves and who they're compatible with. They're not being real with themselves and who they're actually compatible with. You know? Hey, that's what's up. They're not being real with themselves and who they're compatible with. You know? So you have these women, they're beautiful women, and they're looking at this hardworking, they see this hardworking mailman, or they see this hardworking guy pass them every single day. And quiet as it's kept, she might actually be attracted to that dude. But since it's not socially acceptable for her to be with that man, she would pass up a good thing. And now she's in this relationship with the rich nigga that's my type, but she don't really love him. She's just but it looks good on the gram though. It looks good. It looks good on the gram. It looks good in social media. It looks good when you tell your girls, yeah, girl, I got this. I got Russell Westbrook. Yeah, girl, I got Russell Westbrook. They're like, all that envy, damn, I wish what kind of prayer did you do? What kind of, what did you do to pull that, girl, and show me the way. It makes you look like a queen, but it's a unsatisfied queen. Why do you think the baby Oshun, even though she's a full queen, why do you think the baby Oshun always she always is lonely? She always wants children. You know, when she comes out of the forest, she's lonely. She wants to have children because she misses playing with the baby issue in the forest. She misses that. Now you got some Oshuns that'll say fuck it. You know, I'm finna be with the baby issue and we're gonna go into the forest and I don't care what nobody say. You know, but that's, you know, since a lot of women are socially engineered to go for what's popular, and then they're being taught, what's up, Mike Larry's, and then they're being taught, you know, what's popular by social media that don't give a fuck about your ascension as a goddess. You know, you always miss out on the man that's perfect for you. And this is why the Jezebel Isabel spell is very detrimental to our women. The next spell I want to talk about is What's up, y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and if you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I want to redirect you to my Instagram page. I don't promote my Instagram page a lot, but as my subscriber count and things like that rise due to things like shadow banning and stuff like that, I'm hearing that a lot of people aren't getting my notifications when I go live on YouTube and stuff like that. So for all things BandClap TV, my Instagram page and my story are going to have all of the notifications and things like that when it comes to when I'm going live, when I'm going, you know, when I'm releasing videos, when I'm releasing content. Also on my Instagram page, if you're curious about my reviews for my readings and stuff like that, as you can see on my Instagram, I have a lot of different testimonials and stuff like that. For those who don't know of me as an artist, I also have videos of me performing and stuff like that. I'll be putting out more stuff like that very, very soon. So I'm just trying to get as many people right now to go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That is BandClap TV, and also my Facebook and Snapchat, BandClap TV as well. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and like I always say, no matter what, you got to stay shining. You got to stay shining.